Okay, I think we're
Wow,
live.
we have a different background here,
Yeah,
Kevin?
we've changed the background.
That is
again.
really nice. I
Yeah.
like that. We're in the building.
We're sitting by the chimney with the fireplace behind us.
That does look like the chimney. That's
We,
great.
we went through, we redid everything, all of our sets and the background and everything. 2 weeks ago, we had Chief Rosado and Assistant Chief Thody on, and the show was a disaster. Nothing against Trish or Mike or anybody here at the station, but it was a disaster because people come in here and play with the equipment. They deleted all of our files out. We went to we were in a meeting Thursday night, and a woman comes up to us and says, couldn't even hear your show. The sound was so bad. It was all crackling.
Right.
You know,
That's not good.
we don't just walk in here and sit down for the fun of it.
Trish came in so she could do
Trish is here all the time.
job
She
set
works
up.
hard. She cleans the studio out and makes sure everything is set. But it's the people that come in here that could care less as long as they get their shows on.
I would think
They
they would
could
want
care
to have
less.
supervisor for these people, though. Don't
Well, you would
think?
think we'd have a executive director here that would show up to work for once in a while. I haven't, in all honesty, I don't think I've seen that guy in probably 2 or 3 years here.
Oh, maybe he just collecting a paycheck.
They
right?
call that larceny. If you're getting a paycheck and you never show up to work.
Yeah.
Where's the board of directors? Where are they holding?
Oh, I think
The director
they're
here
hopeless.
responsible.
They're hopeless.
Well, we know they are, but
Mhm.
you know, it's
Yeah.
it's too bad. You know, you got employees that work their asses off here. Michael is always good. Armando is good, but they're not rewarded.
Yeah.
You know, Michael or Armando should be the ones running this station, not the executive director who's making $70,000 a year for a no-show job.
Yeah. I'm
It's
sorry
not-
about that. But
it's
I'm,
not right.
I'm hoping you'll be able to hear us today because, I think it's sad and I'm not sure if in general people's show is like that because I really don't watch public access much anymore. It's very hard to find when you have, sometime when you have,
But
what
it-
they call it, antenna TV.
You know, if it was a show that messed up with just you and I sitting here, the two talking heads, fine. But that show 2 weeks ago was an important show with
Right,
the police
it
chief
was.
talking about body cameras and things that are
Right,
going
which
on.
was
things
really
he wants
important for
to
the
do.
public to hear.
And
This
to have
was-
that messed up was very aggravating.
Yeah, I'm sad. I'm sad about that, but I'm hoping that we can fix it and get things right because public access is supposed to be an access for the public, but you need proper direction to make sure it works well, and it can work. But you need directors. You need.
Well, we know it
direction.
can work because it was built from the ground up when Stan McCauley was here.
Yeah.
So we know public access can work, and we know what it can be. And even since the executive director we never see, there's been a lot of money dumped into this place by the Hartford Foundation and others. They've, some new equipment here that Michael and others have gotten. That this place should be state of the art.
Yeah, it should.
We could be doing
this is a
Oscar type
place where,
shows.
this is a place where you could bring in training. People should come in on a weekly basis to be trained how to do public access.
You look at what's behind
Stan
us.
used to do that when he was here.
Typically, most people come in here and do a show with a black curtain behind them, not knowing that this equipment here, what they call green screen,
Can design your
you can
own.
put anything you want. You could put Elizabeth Park in there. You could put a snowstorm.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Anything you want behind
Elizabeth
you.
Park.
And nobody does it because either they're too lazy to figure it out or they don't take the time to figure it out.
Well,
There's
because maybe nobody tells them they can design their own background. I don't know.
When's the last time you've seen a training class here? Stan and Aisha used to always have.
I know, they used
on
to.
Saturday they would have training classes.
Yeah, they do.
I know why it's not done because the executive director wouldn't even know how to walk in the studio and turn a camera on if he had to.
Yeah, that's sad. That is really sad because there's so much opportunity to do so many things in this community, but because of lack of leadership, things like that happen, and it happens in every corporation that you don't have strong leadership. Doesn't matter whether it's a school or whatever the case may be. It's like that when you don't have good leadership at the top.
Okay.
But-
Well, let's get your
So
announcements out of
anyway-
the way, and then we'll talk about leadership.
Hello, Monday. It's Monday morning. It's Monday afternoon, and hello. I hope everyone is doing well. Let's see. It's very windy out there, but I think you all will be okay.
Well, that's,
I
I'm just saying, more than 10,000 power outages across the state.
Whoa, yeah, it is pretty windy out there. But you know what? We can't have it all. So a couple of things. South End Wellness Senior Center. I just like to always, give some update on what's happening over there. As we all know that we have exercise with Jeffrey every Monday from 10 to 11, Thursday 10 to 11, and Friday 10 to 11. I think it's a great opportunity to stay in shape and feeling good about yourself. Okay, so take the advantage and go to South End Wellness Senior Center, 830 Maple Avenue, and do some of those exercises. Also, come into the South End Wellness Senior Center, March 14 at 11 a.m. They're going to be having Santos. It's a medical center, and it's for people actually, whether you have insurance or not, but they're gearing to people who doesn't have insurance. And what I was told, that somebody went there and they felt they were well taken care of. They weren't rushed like when you go to the regular.
Is that the senior center?
They're going to be coming to the senior center, but they do have places in Newington, I hear, and there's another place they're having it. But for what I was told, they take the time to get to know you as a patient. I think I'm going to try it and see what it's all about. But the person who I talked to was very pleased, and she said she's going to go to Newington because they can do X-rays and things.
Why do you need to try? You got a doctor that lives in your house.
It doesn't live in my house, but it's okay. I want to go there just to see what it is, because sometimes you need to see it for yourself so you can tell people
know what's
about
out
it.
there.
Yeah. So I think that's a great opportunity. So that's something coming. So that's going to be on the 14th of March, and as you talk about it, March is right around the corner. This is way in June. I also want to mention too about our trip that we want to take to Canada, and I think Niagara Falls to Toronto. I think this is a great trip. Maybe you should take your mom on it. It's a 5-day, 4-night, 5:30.
I don't think they'll let her back over the border.
You don't think? No. I think this is really a great opportunity to go. And you know what? You get food for those all the time, dinner and breakfast. You only have to provide yourself with lunch. I think that's a great opportunity to do that. I mean, we've done it before with more days, and it's really awesome. Quincy Market, we're trying to put a trip to go to Quincy Market. But that's all the way in June, and that's okay to start talking about it now, so people can decide what they want to do. And bus gonna be depart from Walcott Hill Park commuter parking lot in Wethersfield. That's where we always leave to. But it's always a good trip. So if you need to know anything more about that, you can call the South End Wellness Senior Center at 830 Maple Avenue and always get that information.
And if you've never been to Quincy Market, that's a nice trip.
It's a nice trip.
A lot of restaurants, a lot of shopping.
Yeah, if you're in
very
for
historic.
different diverse food and different activities and stuff like that, I think that's a good place to do. And then don't forget, we have great lunches that we cook every day at the South End Wellness Senior Center. We also have our sewing class that happens Monday through Friday, and we also have ceramics that also happen 2 times a week. Come in and do some, as I said, maybe pool or some game, and do some stuff. Get out of your house. It's still winter, and I know spring will be here pretty soon. But we're really trying to encourage people to get out. And you know how many people die for an opportunity to be able to get out of their house and get into a nice center where you can, socialize and have great food and snack and breakfast, a little something, just to hang around some positive attitudes. We need to do a better job of trying to get out. And don't forget to go into those jazz, every Sunday, like from 3 to 4. It's really great. You should try it sometime. It's really good. There's different.
I know you've been trying a few years to get me to go.
Yeah, please go. And don't forget also, for Hartford residents, you can always access 2 free ticket to the Hartford stage and anything that's playing there. You have to go to the Hartford Public Library. There's a partnership with the Hartford Public Library and the Hartford stage. As a matter of fact, tonight I'm supposed to be going there. I'm supposed to be on some kind of panel discussion on the riot that they had in early '67. I mean, I weren't even here. I said to the lady, I wasn't even here. But what's the difference between now and then? I can talk about.
You can make it up.
Yeah, I can make it up, right?
Make people think you were here. Talk about the tear gas burning your eyes, and
Yeah, and that's also free at the Hartford State this evening.
You don't remember the riots?
I wasn't here, but I heard about it.
When did you?
I came here in 77.
Now, did you climb the wall? or-
Yeah, I did climb the wall and come over.
No, I remember, because I grew up in Windsor, and I remember if we would go, it used to be, I think it was Tops. It was a department, like a Kmart almost in the south end of Windsor. And there was always police at the border. You couldn't go into Hartford because of the riots.
Was this a racial riot? Was it
Yeah.
Okay, so they were kind of dividing, like segregating, you
Yeah.
know, things like that. Yeah, and the sad thing about it, when I just before I came here, I heard about all this thing that was happening here, and I was saying, why were people burning properties? Because at the end of the day, you're left with burned out property.
Yeah.
Because you look at Albany Avenue today, and there's still property that sits out there that nothing has been done to.
How? We have a blight director. How can that?
Oh, how did that happen, right? We should be cleaning up all of our blight and our main streets, right?
How's Bond Street? Is that all fixed?
Oh, Bond. Oh, gosh. It's still sitting there. We're still waiting. As a matter of fact, the new director for economic development called and says, well, what would you like to see there? And I said, is it our property as yet? Does it belong to us? So I'll have to have more deeper conversation with him about that, because if it doesn't belong to the city, we can plan all we want. But I said, I think it would be great to just have what we call maybe a 2-family house there, because we do not want another bodega in the city. Kevin, do you notice that every corner you go there's a bodega? And then you wonder why we are the way
You know
we
what
are.
many of those bodegas are, though?
They're jug fronts.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's why we have
There's some that are good,
one or two of them.
but very few and far between.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are spots for guns, drugs, illegal activity,
Exactly.
loitering.
Exactly. And that's why we shouldn't allow them to open any more of them. Okay? If it was up to me, there would never be another one open. But it's almost like you close one and there's another one open. Okay? And I thought we had an ordinance
Well, what do we
about
do with
that.
zoning?
Oh, I
Is
thought
anybody
we had,
paying attention to zoning?
we don't have any zoning enforcer. Okay, so how are we going to address the issue when we have supposed to have zoning enforcement and there's nobody enforcing the law? You see, this is the problem we have in the city. We have no enforcers, and because of that, everything, everybody do their own thing without any consequences, and that's a big problem. So anyway, so that's we had a great meeting on Thursday. We had State Rep Matt Ritter that came in, and he was very good about what he talks about, and he talked about some stuff that they're working on.
Matt's good because he puts things in terms that people understand and explains things without I'm the majority leader. This is
He's
what I'm
just
saying.
a humble young man.
He's going places,
Yeah,
that.
he's a humble young man. I'm hoping he's going to be the next Speaker of the House.
But even we were talking about the legislation he passed several years ago
On the car
taxes.
Yeah.
That was when he first went in. I don't know if he was still a councilman at the time or he was just going to the legislature.
No, he was
That's
just.
a conversation him and I had.
But
And I said-
you guys had a conversation at council before he left to go to the.
I don't remember where it was, but I said,
Yeah.
it's not fair that in Hartford we pay such higher taxes, and not just taxes, but insurance also.
Insurance.
And it's not fair that we pay so much more in Hartford than somebody in Fairfield County or a more affluent town. And he listened, and
Yeah.
I'm sure he was hearing it from other people, not just me.
Yeah.
But he went in, he wrote a bill and got it passed, and they capped the mill rate statewide, which it still hasn't
Yeah,
kicked
but-
in, but the bill is there.
Yeah, but here's what I found out. Okay, so our tax bill came down, right? It came down. But where did they hit you?
It came down quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, but where did they hit you after that? The insurance company.
Well,
It's
that-
your order. Okay, so it's almost like the insurance company sit around and wait to see what happened. Oh no, you're paying less for your car now, so let's hit you harder for your insurance. It's so sad.
It should be, and
Insurance should
there's
be
more traffic in
if
Hartford.
I hit somebody and have an accident, then I should pay more. But me driving without any accident and stuff like that, I shouldn't have to pay for other people.
Years and years ago, when I first moved to Hartford, I came from Windsor, where I grew up, and I moved to Hartford. My insurance doubled as soon as I put my Hartford address in. That's not right.
No, it's
I'm
wrong.
just as likely to have an accident commuting back and forth to Windsor as I am living in Hartford. And I think it's just,
It's sad.
the insurance companies see profit. It's not based on any real formula of loss, I don't think, because I haven't had an accident since I've been in Hartford. I haven't had any claims or anything. So they can't say, oh, because you moved to Hartford, you're more likely to be a victim of.
Well, you think maybe that's why one of the person who's running for mayor doesn't get his taxes paid because he can't afford it because it's too much?
Well, and I'm being told that one of the other people that may be getting into the
Doesn't
race
even have a car registered
doesn't
here.
register his car, or
Exactly.
doesn't have. He had recently had an accident and didn't pay the insurance on his car.
Wow.
And wasn't registered.
Wow.
I'll get that incident report.
So yeah, do get me that. But because the point is, don't people check themselves before they decide they want to run for office?
Well, I was going to bring this up later, but I started calling him Quiver McGee because he's like a bowl of Jello. Brandon McGee. He doesn't stand up for anything he believes in. He
Right.
flip-flops. He did this bill about the microbreweries or,
Yeah,
the beer bill.
yeah.
And then the Brewers Association over came out opposed to it, and within probably before the ink was even dry on the bill,
He
he was
flipped
pulling
out.
it back and took it back. Then last
But
week,
his other representative also did support it too, right?
I think Doug McCrory
Yeah.
supported it.
Yeah.
So then he started this thing last week because he's the chairman of the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus. Now, I don't know why we call it the Puerto Rican Caucus, because there's plenty of Latinos in the legislature that may not necessarily be Puerto Ricans, but whatever, that's semantics, whatever they want to be socially correct or whatever. They didn't like what they call the thin blue line flag, which is a flag that's been around for years. It's basically, it looks like the American flag, but it's got black and white stripes and a blue stripe that goes right through the center of it. And it's been a sign of law enforcement for several years, I guess. I really don't know the history of it. But somebody, I think it was a Capitol police officer, is a woodworker, actually made one of the signs. It was very nice, or one of the flags, very nice looking. It was a wooden plaque, looked very good. They hung it up in part of the concourse that goes underneath the Capitol, from the LOB up to the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
There's a concourse there, and they always do displays for
Right.
different things. So they have a portion of that concourse that's a law enforcement memorial to police officers that have died in the line of duty. And the flag was hung up there. Well, all of a sudden, the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus leader, Brandon McGee, came up with a memo to legislative management that he was offended by it because it's supposed to be the alternative to Black Lives Matter movement, and it was racist. Well, take it down. They took it down. Then I think he got a lot of heat over the next couple of days, both in the media, between police organizations, things like that. And he quivered and flip-flopped again and sends a memo, oh, we've changed our mind, please put it back
Yeah.
up.
We don't need that person for mayor.
No.
No.
I don't think we have to really worry about that. But it's like, what has this guy done the last 6 years? He's been in the legislature.
Yeah.
And now that he wants to run for mayor, somebody's lit a fire under his butt and he's starting to do things.
Yeah, we're not that
But
desperate.
at least stand for what you believe in. And don't quiver back and forth. Stand for it.
That's to show you.
If you're willing to take the stand in the first
you
place,
have no
stand.
conviction.
Exactly.
You have no conviction. First of all, you have to show what you have done, to make people believe in you that you can do the job. If you haven't done anything,
Well,
even if it's wrong.
Unless people don't believe in you, then you got nothing to use as an example. But,
Yeah.
Another big issue this past week
Yeah, tell me what's going
has
on.
been at the police department.
Yeah, what's going on in the police
The
department?
harassment complaint made by a police officer,
Right?
an openly gay officer.
Mhm.
She's also the LGBTQ,
Uh-huh.
I think I got all
Leader.
the letters in there,
Mhm.
liaison
Mhm.
for the police department, which means she interacts with the gay community.
Right.
She I'm not trying
Face on the.
Well,
yeah.
I'm not trying to be funny, but she puts a gay face on the police department
Okay.
to let people know that yes, gay
It's
people
okay
can
to be who
police
you are.
officers.
Mhm.
So she felt as though she's been discriminated against
Mhm.
and made some allegations, wrote a 9 or 10-page memo to the HR director for the city and made it an official complaint. And I guess allegations are the proper term, but a lot of it is well documented. There's been some bad things done to her and said to her that are totally inappropriate. But when you read the whole complaint,
Is this allegation by one person or it's several people in the department?
several people are aware of it and have heard it,
Okay.
both in and outside the department.
Okay.
The abuser is a sergeant who singles her out and has made very negative comments to her about.
Okay. Is this sergeant being reprimanded?
No.
Okay, something needs to be done. Even me, not a.
Well, I'm glad.
Something has to be done.
I'm glad you're saying
Okay.
that, because now it's my
All
turn to
right.
put you on the spot.
Okay.
This sergeant is also a member of the 7th District Democratic Town Committee. Nobody, not the mayor, not Mark DeBella, nobody has come out and said, this is not a value we consider as a town committee member. He needs to step aside. This is not the type of people we want
This is
representing
not somebody
us.
we want to represent the
Nobody
community.
nobody on the town committee has come out and said that, and it's wrong. If I was,
Well, you know
if
what? I
said
will
things like
contact
that,
the
they would
town
be-
chair and I will talk to him about
Well,
it.
I contacted somebody from the 4th District on Facebook the other day, and I said, hey, not for nothing, but where do you stand on this? Why is nothing being said about Andrew Rodney, the things he's done to Officer Bayerga? Why is nothing being said of him as a town committee member? It's inappropriate. She says, well, you'll have to talk to Mark DeBella. He's the chairman. And I want to say, does Mark DeBella answer to
No.
you, or do you
I
answer to
think-
Mark DeBella?
I think this person should be going into culture training or some kind of a training to understand that, we're all one people. We may have different ideas or whatever the case may be. You're going to respect me for who I am.
And-
I respect you for who you
And this
are.
is not the first incident. He's done several things in his term as a police officer that should have been serious issues, and they've just been overlooked. One was probably about a year or so ago, and it's all on my blog. He was at a gun buyback and saw a woman coming through the parking lot with an AR-15 assault rifle. He wanted one. So rather than letting the woman turn the gun in at the gun buyback,
took it?
he went and paid her $200 cash in the parking lot and bought it for himself. That's a
Is that-
violation.
Isn't that a violation?
That's a violation of the public trust. If
Okay.
I'm as a resident going to turn in a gun to get it off the street, I'm not going there to have a tag sale for a cop to be able to buy it and put it in his own personal collection. And then, what protections does he have in his home to make sure that gun is secure? Or is it somebody breaks in and it ends up out on the street again?
Okay.
So it was wrong, and he was never disciplined for
Well-
it. There was never anything done. But this thing with Officer Bayerga, the things he's said, and it's not just her word, she said, he said thing. Other people have heard it. There's been a lieutenant that heard
Is
it.
it on tape or anything?
I don't think any of it's recorded.
Okay.
But there was
Well-
comments made to her in a restaurant.
Kevin, the only thing I can say, this takes on a leader to address this issue. And you can't play around it. And this have nothing to do with whether you're black, white, pink, or whatever. It's about the discipline and what it is that the respect
It's the tone
and
you
things
set.
that you set in your department. And so I am expecting our chief will address this
Oh,
and
he
get
is.
this
The chief
thing
is
resolved.
addressing it.
And I'm 100%,
But-
100% behind him for him addressing it in a timely manner.
I'm sure he
and-
will.
and
The
do this.
issue is also there's really a total lack of policy from City Hall on how to handle this.
I would think
Now,
the city has a policy around those.
they're
kind
not
of
adhering
things.
to it then, because if you go, anytime you walk into City Hall or most city buildings, there's big blue and white stickers on the doors. Zero tolerance for workplace
What's
violence,
the sense of
sexual
having that
harassment.
on a wall when you don't enforce it?
Exactly.
Like everything else in the
Yeah.
city. What do they enforce?
Where's the mayor? Have you heard the mayor come out and make a
I
statement? that
don't
this
know
is
anything
inappropriate?
about him, about what he says or what he didn't say. I mean, I'm just getting to hear all of this right now. I mean, I haven't, I don't have the privy of knowing all this stuff that's happening inside. But I
Well,
feel personal policy.
That's why I like to come here and help educate you.
Yeah, thank you very
For
much.
anybody that would
Kevin.
like to read the full complaint from Officer Bayerga to Charisse Sherry, the Human Resources Director, it's on my blog on WeThePeopleHartford.com. You can go there, and the whole file is there. And hopefully by the end of the day today, there'll be a lot more files there related to this that you'll be able to read.
Well, I'm hoping it can be taken care of, so she can go to work feeling good
Well-
about herself, and that other person will be taken care of, that he understand that you cannot come to workplace and terrorize people mentally and socially or whatever the case may be.
See, and it's a difficult situation because it's the same whether it's sexual harassment or actually a sexual assault.
It is a
You don't want to
harassment.
victimize the victim and minimize what she says. But other people have jumped on board with this and are turning it in for their own personal agenda into a much bigger deal than what it is. There's a group of people that are now saying, it's on Facebook, they've started a group, HPD, NSFW, HPD, not safe for women. And saying it's a toxic environment. Now, one of the things, and I hate to single somebody out, but it just, something that goes through my mind. Now this Officer Bayerga, she made a legitimate complaint. Other people are jumping on it, I think, to embarrass the chief and embarrass the administration. And there's a much greater agenda here. If you really start looking into the documents and read the complaint.
You think somebody's trying to undermine the chief?
Somebody's using Officer Bayerga as a pawn for their agenda. And unfortunately, she's falling into it.
Why would she do something like that? I mean,
she's being used.
She should know, she should be smart enough not to fall for those things.
I don't know what she's been promised or what she's been said, but it's
because
definitely...
her life is not going to be the same unless it's get addressed properly. Okay, so...
Well, there's a much greater issue that just doesn't make any... It boggles my mind that you can come and say the Hartford Police Department is a toxic environment, which I don't think those are her words. Those are other people who put those words in her mouth. It's a toxic environment. But her wife is in the police academy right now. So if I thought you were unsafe somewhere,
why would
I
you put
encourage
me
you?
in? Why
Hey,
would
Hyacinth,
you put me in to go do
go here.
something?
It's unsafe.
Yeah, but go.
Go.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So why would you do
Right,
that?
right.
It's a toxic environment. But yeah, I'm gonna suppose I love my wife. I'm gonna ask her to go get a job there and encourage her to become a Hartford cop.
Yeah, it
so
doesn't
she
make
can,
sense.
So she can enjoy this toxic environment.
Yeah,
and risk her
it doesn't
life.
make sense.
No,
yeah,
it doesn't.
We got to be careful what we do as people, especially when we are trying to serve the public. We got to be careful what we do.
Yeah, and then this same group that they don't get their facts together. They just run off on a tangent based
Yeah,
on
that's
emotion.
what people do in general.
And we were talking before we went on the air. Somebody you and I both know, and I won't mention the name because I don't want to embarrass her, but she's a lesbian.
She jumped on the bandwagon too?
No, she's a lesbian.
I know.
And they were criticizing her yesterday on Facebook because they didn't know she was a retired Hartford police officer. She put something in the comments on Facebook. So they jumped on, oh, you don't know anything about him. We're ashamed that you're a woman saying this. What do you know about the police department? Well, she knows a hell of a lot because she retired after 25 years there, and she was openly gay when she was there most of her career. She actually set an example to make it easier for other people to come into police work. 10 or 15 years ago, if you were gay, you wouldn't get hired as a cop.
You'd have to hide
They
it.
would either find a way to force you out in your background or something on a polygraph. The same as the military. Police departments were about as closed as the military was to gay people. So there was a lot of people that came ahead of this and opened doors for other people to be able to be accepted. And this person that I talked to yesterday is one of those people.